Welcome to the land of the Crossroads, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Music has always been very special to me. I was raised on the music of this area. This is the Mississippi Delta, and this is the land where the blues began, where rock and roll began. And this is my home. Welcome to the Crossroads. Y'all come again.
Welcome to Crossroads. The blues is our most passionate music, rooted in ancient Africa, but brought to blossom in America at the doorstep of the 20th century. It is a living heritage of song, born in poverty, persecution, and hard labor, born of love and storytelling, of tragedy and pure joy. It is the blues, and nothing is more American. On Crossroads, we bring you up close and personal with true American treasures. Texas Johnny Brown is one of the legendary figures of the Texas blues scene. His distinctive guitar style and compositions have graced recordings since the late 1940s, with performances that range from tender ballads to deep soul to down-in-the-alley blues. Texas Johnny Brown and the Quality Blues Band.
Everything is music. You know, the president can't speak without music. Everything is music, everything you do. I don't think there's anything that you can hardly sell or say without music. Music paints the picture. I had bands that I played with there in Louisiana. And they wouldn't, it'd come a time when they come around and tell you to take a solo. They never said get up, they never said take a solo, you know. They'd always say, hey man, get up and take a hot, you know. Well, I'd get up to take a hot, and by the time I get started, somebody would reach and get me and say, sit down, you ain't doing nothing, you know. That made a lot of difference. That taught me a lot. You know, that kind of experience is the thing that brings you up and it grows you up. Because if you want to stay there and do these things, you have to be on top of your game. If you're going to play somebody else's music, you're going to have to play it better, or you're going to be always thought of as you sound like, you know. So I'd rather see somebody say that you sound like Johnny Brown than say that Johnny Brown sounds like someone else. So my style is my style.
My woman and my lover, my best friend, over and over again. And this my woman and my lover, my best friend, over and over again and again.
It's the love I have for music. It's the feeling that I have for music. It's so much to be said and so much to be done. I played some shows with Elvis. We played some shows together in Memphis. They were tunes that I had heard before Elvis ever came along. Rock and roll actually was nothing but a rolling boogie. Boom-ba-doom-ba-doom-ba-doom-ba-doom-ba-doom-ba-doom, and that was going on back there when I was a kid, man, and I'm 72 years old now.
My mama died when I was age of 9. I did street scenes with my daddy and he was blind. I walked down dusty roads, dark alleys and detour streets. I went to bed sometimes, but not a damn thing to eat, and that's a sure thing, yeah. Tell you where I'm coming from.
I have a lot to say that I want to bring out in my instrument, and that's what keeps me going.
In a groundhog sawmill, 7 days a week, and a sharecropper's field. For a half a sack of flour, and a half a sack of meal, we're gonna burn it, burn it, burn it,
like to be remembered as Texas Johnny Brown that played the blues with a feeling and did everything that I could to help someone else.
Never thought this kind of day would ever come. Like they heard so much for loving just one and only one. I never thought this kind of day would ever come. What has happened to me could happen to just anyone. It's got me sleeping in the park, chasing cars. I'm trying to find the love on, or that was my woman and my lover, my best friend. Over and over, again and again.
Like lightning over Texas, the blues rock thunderstorm that is Chris Duarte came rumbling out of Austin and swept over America. Inspired by the genius of Coltrane, haunted by the power of Hendrix, and schooled by the precision of Stevie Ray, Chris evokes a sound all his own. Grunge to funk, swing to twang, classical to soul. Duarte's brand of songwriting reveals heartfelt stories within his truly unique style. Witness the power and the glory that is the Chris Duarte Group.
What brought me about to being a musician was I was watching Fiddler on the Roof first came on TV. I guess I'm dating myself. It's probably in the early 70s. And that shot from the very beginning where that fiddler on the roof is silhouetted, I just thought that was the coolest thing. John Coltrane is my #1 man. That's who I admire the most. Stevie and Jeff Beck and John McLaughlin and all the Kings. And I mean, I have Beethoven, Mozart, those are idols of mine. What I feel blues music really is just emotion. It's about emotion, it's about what you're feeling right now, and it's passionate. And I mean, any musician should be able to convey passion, but I think blues is an easier way or an easier access for a lot of musicians to play passionately. Unfortunately, a lot of people do think it is sad music, but it's not sad music. It can be very uplifting music. It can be healing music. So it's what you get out of it, but I think it's just emotional. blues were a lady. Perfect, passionate, not quite voluptuous, just somebody that stirs emotion in you. Musicians come up to me after the show and ask me, what is it that you have, or what can I do to be like you? Always, always, always play from the heart.
Well, Lord, must I wait? Well, Lord,
Thomas King is an innovator of the genre of blues. Born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and raised with an impeccable musical pedigree. His father, Rockin' Tabby Thomas, owns the famed Baton Rouge Blues Club, Tabby's Blues Box, presenting his own new vision, rooted in the authenticity of hand-me-down knowledge, and brought forward as the blues for the 21st century. Chris Thomas King.
Baby, I couldn't live without you. No, I couldn't. How could I stand the pain? It would be a slow death of torment and torture. It would drive me insane. I wanna die with a smile on my face, a smile on my face, a gentleman in my heart.
That's the gift, to have the creativity to write a song, something that lasts, you know, that has some lasting meaning. It comes and I just write it down or begin playing it and singing it. I just hope it keep coming. That's all I can say.
I'm not alone. I have me, my guitar, and the blues.
There was a guy going around by the name of Petey Wheatstraw, a blues singer, piano player, and he would call himself the Devil's Son-in-Law. You know, Petey Wheatstraw, the Devil's Son-in-Law on the poster, saying that he was playing at some fish fry dance. You know, it just had a nice ring to it. And the Coen Brothers movie, Old Brother Where Art Thou? The song I sing is called Hard Time Killing Floor Blues. It's a Skip James song. And Skip James was from the Delta too, 20s. In 1929, he recorded most of his tunes. But he sung 3220 like 7 years before Robert Johnson recorded it, you know? But you know it's good music when they tell you it's the devil's music, you know? And when your parents say, you know, you're gonna get arrested if you go to that concert, and if you listen to that music, you know, it's gonna ruin you, you know that's the music you should be listening to, you know? And so, hey, what music is that, man? That's hip-hop in the 90s, you know? Hip-hop was like against the law to sing that, you know? And so that's the music you want to sing, you know? That's what, if your parents don't like it, you know you're doing it right. That's when you're really singing the blues, you know?
Moonshine whiskey ought to be a crime. When I start drinking, I'm bound to lose my mind. Old brother died, get me through hard times. Well, what's that smoking? Yon across the field, looking like our secret hideaway. We had so many years. John Lawton come and run us away from here. burned down a liquor store. He burned down a liquor store. John Law burned down a liquor store. John Law burned down a liquor store. For that bootleg whiskey, where we gonna go?
I began playing in my hometown of Baton Rouge. At least that's where I was born. My dad is a blues musician and a club owner. I left Baton Rouge and moved to Austin, Texas. I actually lived with Clifford Antone for a time, the guy who ran the Club Antone's. And I was in a house band there. And so when Albert King would come to town, Albert Collins or whoever it was that would pass through, I'd always like open up the shows, hang out and play with them. So that was my introduction to actually getting to hang out with the legends of the game. I guess because I grew up with my father, rocking Tabby Thomas. You know, I grew up in that environment, but at the same time hanging out, you know, with all the hip-hop crowd and stuff.
Ash to ash, dust to dust, they do the dirt, try to cover it up. Mass confusion, violent screams, mass destruction, silent screams. Society don't give a damn. Across the tracks, they bury
the blues that I know, you know, come from the other side of the tracks, you know, and when you go on the other side of the tracks in the 90s, this is the sound I hear, you know, this is the beat that I hear, this is the vibe that I get. And so, 21st century blues, this is the way I hear it and feel it.
She took the radio and my TV. I don't have nobody to love and care for me. I know she's gone, but I'm not alone. I have me, my guitar, and the blues. My phone don't ring, and the birds don't sing, and all the mailmen bring is bills way past due. It's all gone wrong, but I'm not alone. I have me, my guitar, and the blues.
Bugs Henderson, a man many consider a national treasure. From searing blues, jazzabilly swing, funky Travis picking, psychedelic wah, swamp boogie, to twang surf. You could say a complete history of American electric guitar. Touring for 3 decades with his Rip It Up Rockin' Blues, Bugs Henderson and the Shuffle Kings.
I love the blues and I love the guys that are really playing it. Does the song say something, or is there something interesting going on? It doesn't matter what kind of music it is. Is it interesting? Does it say something to you? Elvis actually took blues and hillbilly music, and then this rockabilly thing happened. And I mean, I just like it all. People that just like one kind of music, I don't understand. How can you just like one kind of music? When I'm saying nobody's better than anybody else, just because you sold more records or more famous, you know. We're all just carrying around pieces of wood with steel on them, you know, just guitars.
Everything I have is sweet. I will teach you what you got to learn. Be careful, cause you will get burned. 1, 2, 3.
I remember the night vividly when we started the band, me singing, doing my songs that I wrote, me out front. I was petrified. It sounds funny now, but I really thought people were going to get up and walk out. I've heard other songwriters say this before, and it's so true. You get an idea for a song that really has nothing to do with anything in your life. It's something that rhymes, or it's a riff. And when you finish it and you're playing it, people come up and they go, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know, and you don't even know what you're talking about. It's words that rhyme. And then the other side of that is you'll write something that just from your gut, that is just your life story or something, and people never get it. And so. And then maybe subconsciously the stuff that the people like, maybe there is more to yourself in there. I don't know. I've heard that other guys say that songs are just gifts, and I think that's true. They're just gifts. No one will ever convince me that Robert Johnson and all those old blues guys, if they were still alive, that they would still be playing the exact same way. You know, give those guys a Marshall stack and a Strat, and they would have loved it. Stay straight and always get cash.
Single bell rings in Bluffdale. It rings within my uncle's wife. Heaven knows we're gonna miss him. He was the object of her life. He was the object.